We always say on this show, 2 minutes literally can change.
There are performances that entertain, and then there are performances that stop the world for just a moment. Jourdan Blue's Unsteady cover didn't simply trend, it didn't simply circulate, it hit people. Somewhere quiet, somewhere hidden, somewhere they didn't expect. It was the kind of voice that made thousands pause mid-scroll, lift their heads, and wonder, who is she, and why does it feel like she's singing my story? What began as a simple AGT Music Room session turned into something far heavier, something trembling, something almost confessional. Because behind that breathless vibrato, behind the way her voice cracked as if holding back years of pressure, behind the stillness that filled the studio, there was a truth she never intended to reveal. A truth born long before the cameras, a truth shaped far from the spotlight. And what surfaced afterward left an entire audience quiet. But the emotion behind her voice came from a place few ever knew. Her journey didn't begin with fame or followers or even the AGT Music Room invitation. It began in a small town where everything echoed: sound, emotion, expectation, pressure. Jourdan grew up surrounded by the kind of quiet that makes you listen deeply, the kind of quiet that forces you to notice every shift in someone's voice. Even as a child, people saw something unusual in her, not perfection, but feeling, a trembling sincerity that didn't match her age. Her earliest performances weren't on big stages. They were in small church halls, crowded family gatherings, and local events where a microphone squeaked more than it worked. Music wasn't an escape for her, it was communication, the only place she felt she could express what she didn't know how to say. Family struggles, kept private but quietly present, shaped her sensitivity. Moments of uncertainty at home carved space for a voice that leaned into vulnerability. She wasn't just singing, she was releasing pressure she couldn't carry. By her teens, people weren't just praising how she sounded, they were asking if she was okay. Yet those early struggles were nothing compared to what awaited her during her rise. Long before AGT discovered her, Jourdan was posting small clips online. Soft lighting, simple backgrounds, a microphone that wasn't expensive but somehow captured everything raw in her voice. One clip, just 30 seconds long, changed everything. She had recorded a simple late-night snippet not meant for anyone beyond a handful of followers. Yes, the way she leaned into a single note, letting it waver with almost aching restraint, made people stop scrolling. Within days, the clip spread far beyond her circle. People stitched it, replayed it, and left comments that sounded more like confessions than compliments. It wasn't her range that captured them, it was the weight behind her sound, the feeling that she had lived the pain she sang about. As the views rose, whispers circulated. There's something real in her. She sings like she's been holding this in. A small group of industry watchers began paying attention, and among them were a few eyes from the AGT ecosystem. Yet the opportunity that should have changed everything brought its own storm. Jourdan didn't chase AGT. AGT found her. The invitation to perform in the AGT Music Room felt unreal. A dream most artists spend years chasing suddenly placed in her hands. Yet that same moment carried a weight she hadn't anticipated. For the first time, people would see her not through a blurry phone camera, but in a studio, where every breath, every shift, every micro-expression told a story. Rehearsals were warm, supportive, yet undeniably intense. She felt the pressure in her chest, in her hands, in the way she practiced long after she was told she didn't need to. The AGT environment, bright, polished, demanding, was a world entirely different from the quiet rooms she usually sang in. Insiders whispered they sensed a kind of fragility in her, a tension she tried to hide with soft smiles. A quiet fear that she wasn't ready to reveal herself to millions. And the weight only intensified when she chose her song. She chose Unsteady, a piece about instability, imbalance, and trying to hold on to something slipping away. A song that mirrored parts of her personal life more than she was ready to admit. And just when she thought she was prepared, a personal setback shifted everything. 2 days before recording, something changed. Crew members noticed her energy shift. Her rehearsals became softer, distant, as if she was drifting into her own thoughts. She laughed less, spoke less, carried something invisible but heavy. Rumors spread carefully. Some believed she had received difficult news. Others thought the pressure had stirred old emotional wounds. Whatever it was, she didn't share details. She simply sat with the weight. At one point, she even considered changing her song. Conversations arose about choosing something lighter, something that didn't strike so close to the core. But every time she tried, something inside her pushed back. Unsteady wasn't just a song, it was a mirror, and she wasn't sure she was ready to look into it. Then recording day arrived, and what happened once cameras rolled would silence every doubt except one. The studio lights were soft that day, the atmosphere strangely still. Even the air felt different. Jourdan stepped up to the microphone, eyes slightly lowered, breath slow but shaky. When the music began, she didn't attack the first line, she let it happen, like the words were slipping out rather than sung. Her voice cracked, not from lack of control, but from emotional weight. The kind of crack that sends shivers because it's painfully honest. As she continued, her tone grew steadier but still trembling. The performance wasn't polished, it was real. Her voice carried the quiet ache of someone holding too much inside. Producers later said they felt the room change, a heaviness falling across the space, gentle, heartbreaking, unforgettable. When the final note faded, there was no immediate reaction, just silence. The kind of silence that means everyone is processing what they witnessed. Within hours, clips began spreading. Comments poured in. Why did this make me cry? This felt too personal. Her voice sounds like she's holding everything together. But it wasn't the performance itself that stunned people. It was what surfaced afterward. The moment the video went live, it ignited an avalanche of emotional responses. Viewers described her tone as aching, too honest, like she was singing straight from a wound. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. TikTok edits captured the moment her breath hitched. Instagram reels highlighted the slight gloss in her eyes. But as the performance grew, so did speculation. Some believed she drew from personal pain. Others theorized she was going through something recent. A few online threads spun into exaggerations or misinformation. Through the noise, fans defended her, insisting emotion didn't need to be explained. For days, no one knew what was true. The silence only grew louder. Then she spoke, and the truth she shared shifted everything again. In a soft, carefully worded post, Jourdan addressed the whirlwind. She didn't give details or expose personal wounds. She simply admitted that Unsteady reflected parts of her life she rarely discussed. She hinted at years of emotional pressure, moments of uncertainty, times when she felt like she was barely holding on but didn't want to burden anyone. She wrote that singing Unsteady felt different, like releasing something she had carried too long. Fans responded with warmth, empathy, overwhelming support, and this honesty opened doors she never expected. Behind the scenes, industry professionals began reaching out. Managers, producers, vocal coaches, all sensing something rare, a vulnerability that couldn't be manufactured. Talks began about projects, collaborations, original music. But visibility came with a shadow. Sudden attention brought scrutiny. People wanted more content, more emotion, more moments like the Unsteady performance. That pressure mirrored the very feelings she sang about. There were whispers she struggled balancing visibility with the desire for privacy. She had stepped into the light, but part of her still longed for quiet rooms. And just when everything seemed overwhelming, a surprising twist emerged. Instead of retreating, Jourdan chose growth. She focused on new music shaped not by pressure, but by self-reflection. She collaborated with artists who understood her emotional depth. She explored themes she once avoided. She created space for softness, vulnerability, and healing. Then another performance surfaced, one carrying the same emotional weight as Unsteady, but with a new undercurrent: strength. This wasn't the trembling voice from the music room. It was a voice rebuilt, steadier, shaped by everything she had overcome. Fans realized something profound. The Unsteady cover wasn't her peak. It was her turning point, a moment where the world finally heard her truth, and she began discovering her own strength. Jourdan's Unsteady cover will be remembered not because it went viral, but because it felt like watching someone breathe out years of unspoken emotion. It wasn't just a performance, it was a release, a confession, a quiet plea wrapped in trembling notes. And for Jourdan Blue, that fragile moment didn't mark the height of her career. It marked the start of a new one, a journey defined not by instability, but by transformation. The world may have discovered her through a voice on the edge, shaking with truth, but where she goes next will be shaped by the strength she found within that unsteady moment.